My stand is a little
Hi,
wonky.
Sarah. How are you today?
Hi, I am good.
Thank you for joining us. We have Sarah from Mommy Feel Good, and I'm just going to start with your bio. How's that?
Sure.
All right. Sarah Pereira has been providing placenta preparation and encapsulation for families in Southern California since 2008. She first learned about this ancient tradition while studying traditional Chinese medicine at Emperor's College, and since launching has worked with thousands of clients, providing them with this nourishing supplement as well as other nurturing modalities via her website, mommyfeelgood.com. Do you want to add anything else to that?
Um, Not really. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, it feels like.
You have, and I just heard about it from you guys and from the
Yeah.
mommy group. And so I want to learn more. What are placenta capsules and what are the benefits?
Okay, so a lot of people have that question. Well, do you do it for the mom or do you get a bunch of placentas? And yeah, so I do it just for that mom. So I'm never going to be giving another woman somebody else's placenta. It's for that mom. She grew it. It's hers. And you take it like a supplement. Yeah. So the biggest benefit. So basically, what I do is it's a whole process of turning it into powder and putting it into capsules. And the biggest benefit really is to help balance the hormones, right? So when a woman is in her third trimester, she has 3 times the normal amount of hormones as a non-pregnant woman. And then within just the first few days of delivering baby, suddenly she has below the normal amount of hormones. So it's you have that roller coaster ride of hormones, right? When you're postpartum, and it really helps to just sort of even out the hormonal levels. It also has prolactin, which helps to promote lactation, which is a hormone that's in it. It really helps to shorten your bleeding time. It helps to shrink your uterus back into shape faster, its original shape. It also helps to restore your iron levels as well. So
Oh, that's important.
yeah, and it also gives you energy for some women. Not everybody feels that, but some women like can almost have that jittery feeling like you've had too much caffeine, which I don't like that feeling, but some women
Right.
love that. So they're like, I just had so much energy. It was wonderful. But that is also a sign if you're taking too many capsules, if you have that jittery feeling and you don't like it, then you
Oh,
kind of want to lower your dosage. But
oh,
some women
okay.
really love
It's
that.
sort of
So
like trial and error.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I always give a suggested dosage, but it's, everybody's body is different. So you kind of have to listen to that to figure out if you need more or less.
And then
But yeah,
how many capsules do you usually get? With
I would
each
say on
person?
average, the average placenta is going to get about 120 capsules.
Okay.
But I've had like super, super tiny placentas that I've worked with that have gotten like 50. And
Mhm.
I've had huge ones that have gotten 250. So it just
Okay.
really depends on the size. Typically, the bigger the baby, the bigger the placenta.
Okay. And then how long do people take it for? I mean, I would imagine that it's individualized. So each person would just sort of test out how many they take per day.
Yeah, well, I also offer a liquid tincture as well. So that is something I started offering a few years back because obviously once your capsules are gone, they're gone. But the tincture, which is made from the capsules as well, it will last indefinitely. So they don't have to worry so much that their capsules are going to run out because they also have the tincture, which is a liquid form. So that needs about 6 weeks before it's ready, and then they can start using that. But uh, I always tell my clients that they want to go for at least a 2 week window, just to kind of
Okay.
get those initial hormones balanced back. And they can go longer than that, but at least a 2 week window. Some women don't pay attention and don't look at my labels, and they just take them until they're gone, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it doesn't. There's no like
I
concrete do it this way or do it that way.
right. And then so I just incidentally, I was at my acupuncturist and I was telling her how I was interviewing you today. And she said that actually the placenta pills are also good for menopause.
Yes. Yeah.
So she basically has hers and she's been keeping them in the fridge, and
Yeah.
she's just waiting for whenever, menopause hits her, and it's probably going to be another 20 or 30 years, but she'll just
Yeah.
keep
You can totally save them for menopause. And that's also when the tincture can come in as well. Yeah.
that. Is so
Yeah,
cool.
because all what it, menopause is just hormonal fluctuations again. So and it's a yang in Chinese medicine, it's a yang tonifier. So it's really good for all of that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so neat. So, okay, when people contact you and they want to have this done, do you offer them uh, the choice of just pills, just tincture, or do you always just give them both now that you're offering the tincture
I
too?
always give them both,
Okay.
just because it's cost wise, it's really not, the tincture doesn't cost me all that much. It's a
Okay.
bottle and it's like 2 ounces of high proof vodka in the bottle. That's really what you know, what that it doesn't cost me much to do it. So I don't really offer a price difference because sometimes also they don't know that they will need it. You
Right.
know what I mean? So that's just my package. I offer the capsules and the tincture, and then I always do a cord keepsake as well, unless they specify that they don't want that. Or if they did cord blood banking and there is no cord, then I can't do that. So,
Okay.
but yeah, my package difference really is just over travel. If I'm going to be driving to pick it up and drop it off, or if they drop it off to my location.
Okay. And so it's pretty common for people to just say to their doctor, "Oh, I want to save my placenta and, package it for me. I'm going to take it," or.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty common now. Like I said, I started doing this in 2008, and in the beginning, it wasn't. The doctors were kind of like, "What? What are you talking about?" But even here in LA, there's a specific hospital that started preemptively asking their patients if they planned on taking it. So that was
Oh
good.
my
They don't
gosh,
do that
that's
anymore.
fantastic.
Yeah, for some reason they're not doing that anymore. But
Oh,
they were like really on board there for a little while. So, but yeah, most hospitals I don't have any issues with.
okay, cool. And then are you finding that oftentimes mainly people would be introduced to placenta capsules and the possibility of that when they are working with midwives and doulas?
Yes, but it's funny because I actually don't see a lot of those clients because oftentimes their midwife or doula will offer it for them.
Mhm.
But which wasn't the case in the beginning. And when I first started doing this, I was pretty much the only one, other than a couple of midwives, offering this. And now it's like every doula is doing it.
Oh, wait, so
But
you're saying that other doulas also offer this placenta?
yeah, some of them will. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh, okay. But
Yeah,
you
which
have a specific lab for this.
I have a specific space that I do this in. I'm not doing it in my apartment or my house kitchen. I did in the beginning of all of this. I was actually doing it in the client's home,
Uh-huh.
which there was some benefits to that, but it was just very I don't want to say invasive, but it was kind of tricky and hard to coordinate because they're at the
Yeah.
hospital or if they had a home birth, like they don't want me coming in there and in their space,
No, cooking up
and that
in their
worked for
kitchen.
yeah, that worked for a little while, but now I have my own dedicated workspace for it. I think that's preferable. But yeah, so a lot of my clients are from referrals. I would say
Okay.
most of my clients are from referrals. I have a few doctors here actually that refer me. Some doulas that don't provide the service will refer me, but then mostly it's just clients, who've benefited and really loved it and that's where I get most of my clientele from.
Now, this might be weird, but would somebody take somebody else's placenta capsule? Like, if I'm like, hey, my hormones are all out of whack, and Judy down the street is like, hey, guess what? I have these placenta capsules. Want one?
Well, I am just the provider. So this is what I tell my clients. I'm providing you the service. What you do with them after that is up to you. But I will say in China, they do actually take multiple women's placentas and make like mass amounts of placenta capsules.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then there's a couple of companies, like there's a company called Dragon Herbs, and they will offer deer placenta and sheep placenta.
Mhm.
So, there's been a couple of instances where it didn't work out, that my client couldn't do it for one reason or another, and they were pretty bummed about it. So I referred them to that company to at least get the animal version of it for themselves. You know, it's not the same as yours, but
No,
there's
but
still some benefits.
it's okay. So you also reap the same sort of benefits using an animal placenta capsule.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just the placenta itself is so. I grew up on a dairy farm, and I remember when the cows would deliver, I remember our dogs would fight over it, you know?
Oh,
So,
right,
and
because
I
they
did have a
know.
dog that lived to be like 23 years old. So I always joke that it was because she ate the placenta all the
Oh, don't tell anybody that. Everyone wants to live forever.
time.
So if a mother has like 3 kids, right? And she still has placenta from when she gave birth to the first kid. Now, are you recommending that, when she has the placenta capsules made of her from her third birth, that would be most helpful for her for recovery rather than going back to the first child's placenta?
Yeah, I mean, that's always something that I would recommend. But, you know, obviously, if they're in a situation where they can't or it didn't work out or whatever, then absolutely go and use the first or the second round. But, you know, but then I don't know. In my mind, it's like, well, don't waste it. You know, like
Right?
you want as
She
many
can
as
just
you
save
can
it for
get.
menopause.
Yeah, you want as many as you can get. You want to save it for menopause. You want to, you know, just be able to take them whenever you want, you know? So but yeah, it is preferable that she's going to be taking it for that birth. I mean, she made
Okay.
it for that birth, for that baby, for that situation. But definitely if she couldn't for any reason, then I would absolutely suggest taking from the previous birth.
Okay, so another question along the lines of the baby and that specific placenta. Would you ever use these placenta caplets for curing anything with the baby or child?
I wouldn't say curing anything, but yeah, I do have that on my label for the tincture. So it is beneficial for the child as well. Like baby wouldn't need it, but as the baby got a little older, you can use it for any type of transition, you know, like new baby entering the family, growth spurts, growing pains, and if you have a girl and she's starting her first period,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that. Any type of hormonal fluctuations, growth spurts, growing pains, any type of spiritual, you know, transition, or anything big like life transition, you know, I think it can be beneficial for mom and child for
So
sure.
just put a little
And
bit of the tincture in some water and she
yeah,
can
some
just drink it
water, some
down or some.
juice or something. Yeah, exactly. And some people are like, oh, but it's vodka. Well, you're not like giving the child a shot, you know, it's literally like
No.
3 to 5 drops, little
Yeah.
drops for a child. And, you know, using high grade alcohol is what, I mean, traditionally that's how you make tinctures, right? So it
Mhm.
pulls out the medicinal qualities, and it gives it pretty much a forever shelf life because it's alcohol. So it's something that will last indefinitely, and it just pulls out those medicinal qualities and keeps it just keeps infusing over time as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's great to know because every bit of support that's from our own bodies is
Yeah,
useful.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know our refrigerator actually just died a couple of weeks ago, and Katie actually
Yep.
from the horse, you know, Roseville Writers helped me get my new one, which I was just
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
that's right.
thank goodness. But I had to clean out my freezer, and I had a little jar left of my pills, and I was so bummed because of that um, going from frozen to not frozen, and I don't think I had the lid on tight enough, so I had a few of my pills that like are no longer valid.
Oh,
They're
you
no
didn't just
longer.
like hurry up and eat them down.
Yeah, they turned kind of mushy and gross, and so
Oh,
yeah, I was bummed. But I have my
bummer.
tincture. I have my tincture, so
Oh, yeah. My acupuncturist was saying how she keeps hers, in the refrigerator as well. And every so often, when she's feeling like she needs it, she'll pop one and it gives her
yeah,
energy.
yeah, totally. You know, it's good
It's
stuff.
amazing. It's
It
amazing.
is. It
It,
is.
just these things, like I had no idea, I'd never even heard of it, and then as the moms were talking about it, with people having babies and recommending you and your placenta pills, I was like, I want to learn more about this. And I feel like more
Yeah.
people would want to learn more about it, you know?
Yeah, it's funny.
Just kind of
You know,
like,
and I found over the years that the people who are like, God, that's disgusting, or that's so, they have all these huge opinions about it. They like know nothing about it. They literally don't know any of the ins and outs of it, and they have the biggest opinions. But
right.
even the women that are super, not sure and kind of like, I guess, I don't know, my friend told me to do it. Like they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah. Why
So
not? Why not?
yeah,
If you have that
why not?
option and you can afford it, why not do it? Because that's just something that maybe down the road you might need. Just your body
Exactly.
supporting your body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I do, some women are like, well, I'm not really worried about postpartum. I think I'll be fine. But in my mind, it's like, well, you never know. Like every pregnancy, every postpartum experience is different. So you never know. And even so, I'll even recommend to my clients, because it can be stored in the freezer, like unprepared. It can be stored in the freezer for up to 6 months before you prepare it. I mean, it's ideal to do it right away, but at least hold on to it just in case, like you never know if you're going to go through a rough patch that you need that hormonal support.
But even, given what we were talking about earlier as, supplemental support, even if you weren't going to have, even if you weren't going to need it for postpartum support, who knows down the road if you have a tragedy or, something spiritual that you're going through, if you
Right.
have that, then that's something else that you could tap into that is
Absolutely. And
part of
and
you.
also just like breastfeeding takes so many nutrients
Oh,
out of you and like
yes.
leaches everything out of you. It's good to just like taking liver capsules, liver
Yeah.
capsules are one of the best things you can take. Well, placenta capsules are probably even better.
Yeah,
So,
especially since it's yours
yeah,
and your
exactly.
kid. So it's perfect.
Yeah, so even
Oh,
just as an added like, supplement to just help nourish your body, even having
mhm.
nothing to do with hormonal stuff, it's really good.
Yeah. That man, I wish I had known that before I had Dylan.
I know, I hear that from
Because I'm
so
certainly
many
not having
women.
another kid now.
I hear that all the time. But yeah, Hillary actually, it's so funny because, she and I became friends when she was pregnant with Kingston.
Uh-huh.
And she had never done it before. And she was kind of like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, let me gift this to you. I want to do this for you. And she's like, okay. She wasn't going to do it on her own if I hadn't gifted it to her. And she was like, oh my God, that was like, that was amazing. I wish I
Amazing.
would have done that with all my kids. She had more
Right?
energy. She
Because
felt
the
just,
recovery is so much better.
yeah,
Mhm.
totally. It really is.
It's really, I mean, giving birth is traumatic. So, having the support afterwards, who knew? Who knew
Yeah,
the recovery could be so gentle?
absolutely. And we need all the support we can get because even the perfect birth, it's
Yeah,
still taxing on your body.
of course. I'm so glad to learn more about it. Is it
Try to
delivered to you from the doctor, like in a bag, in a cooler, or?
Yeah, every hospital's different. Like St. John's Hospital, I actually love the way that they do it because they just put it in a Ziploc bag. Well, they'll put it in like two or three, but that's really great because then you don't have to worry about if it's going to fit in your cooler, if it's not going to fit in your cooler. Cedars is like, a little tub about that size. The one that I can't stand the most is at UCLA Santa Monica. It's like huge but shallow. So
Yeah.
it never fits in the person's cooler and it's always like a mess and I have to always disinfect and sanitize their cooler and
Ew.
it's not my favorite. But typically they'll put it most of the time it's in like a little quart size top type of
Ziploc.
plastic container.
Yeah.
And then I always tell my clients to take a cooler with them to the hospital and they'll provide the ice. They can always get the ice from the hospital and they just keep it on ice until I can get there to pick it up. Like I said, I offered a discount when clients drop off to my house. So that's an option too. Most people want me to just pick up and drop off, but
I feel
yeah,
like it's so good.
I'm in my little workspace here. So there's
Oh,
my dehydrators and my
nice.
sink over. Wait, sorry, let me. I've
Yep.
got my little stainless steel sink over here. This is where I steam it. And then I've got like all my jars. which way am I going? All my
Oh,
supplies there. So it's all, separate from my
everything else.
personal kitchen.
Super sterile.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add. It's not something I ever thought when I was 12 years old, I'm going to make placentas one day when I grow up, it just really fell in my lap, and it's been such a blessing. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Portland, so actually my acupuncturist knows of a woman here who does it, but generally you obviously can only get these placenta pills done locally.
Yes, like it's really ideal to have it prepared within the first 3 days.
Okay.
If it's going to be longer than 72 hours, then it needs to be frozen.
Yeah.
Which happens sometimes if the client doesn't want to rush it, or if I'm out of town for a couple days or something and they prefer me to do it, then they can pop it in the freezer, which it's still fine, but it's just really ideal to have it prepared within the first 3 hours, or frozen within the first 3 hours.
Right.
But more and more people are offering the service. Like I said, I was one of the first, and I think I probably know the person in Portland that you're talking about.
Oh.
But there was a few of us women that kind of started off in around the country, and we still stay in touch and stuff. So
yeah, it would be great if you have like a link on your websites to each other.
I think I do.
You do? Okay.
I think I have a directory in there. At least I did. I don't know. I haven't gone on my website in a while. A little outdated, but I think I have a directory on there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's helpful.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a link to your website underneath our video when we put it up.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like I went to school for acupuncture and herbal medicine. That's where I learned about this.
Yeah.
And I ended up not finishing, but I never was meant to.
No.
I was never meant to become an acupuncturist. I was just meant to go there for this, really.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not like we learned how to do that there. It was just a seed that was planted when I was there for the first 2 years. And then at the right time, it took off.
It's so incredible.
Unintentionally, completely unintentionally.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Divine.
Divine. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And you've been doing it for a long time, since 2008.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was super informative. I think we covered everything.
Okay, good. And if anybody ever wants to reach out with any questions, or, they're interested in it in the LA area, I'm happy to help.
Awesome. And
thanks,
that's Sara at mommyfeelgood.com.
Sara, Sara at mommyfeelgood.com. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Thanks,
you. Belinda.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.